The Porsche name evokes images of sleek sports cars, roaring engines, and racetrack glory. Yet beneath this iconic brand lies a story of ambition, sacrifice, and ingenuity woven through the life of one man. Ferdinand Porsche, a visionary engineer, emerged from humble beginnings to redefine the automotive world. His journey began in a small village where dreams of innovation clashed with the weight of tradition. This is the story of how a boy's curiosity sparked a legacy that would captivate generations. On September 3rd, 1875, Ferdinand Porsche was born in Maffersdorf, a quiet village nestled in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, now part of the Czech Republic. The world he entered was one of gradual transformation, where horse-drawn carriages rumbled along dirt roads and steam trains heralded the dawn of industrial progress. Automobiles were little more than a whisper, a fantastical notion in the minds of a few daring inventors. Ferdinand's father, Anton Porsche, ran a blacksmithing workshop, crafting horseshoes, tools, and carriage fittings with the steady rhythm of a hammer. The family expected Ferdinand to inherit this trade, to carry forward the legacy of iron and fire in a village bound by tradition. But Ferdinand's heart was elsewhere, drawn to the mysteries of science and the allure of machines. At school, he devoured lessons in mathematics and physics, his mind racing with ideas far beyond the forge. His teachers marveled at his curiosity, noting how he sketched intricate mechanisms in the margins of his notebooks. Yet the path to his dreams was not without obstacles, and a family tragedy would soon test his resolve. In 1889, when Ferdinand was just 14, his older brother died unexpectedly, leaving a void in the Porsche household. The loss was a crushing blow, not only emotionally but also practically, as the family's future now rested on Ferdinand's young shoulders. Forced to abandon his studies, he joined his father's workshop, where the clang of metal and the heat of the forge became his daily reality. Blacksmithing demanded strength and precision, but for Ferdinand, it was a soul-crushing routine that stifled his creativity. His hands grew calloused, shaping iron under his father's stern gaze, while his mind wandered to the possibilities of a new era. In the late 19th century, electricity was reshaping the world, with Edison's light bulbs and Tesla's alternating current sparking a revolution. Ferdinand, in his rare moments of freedom, retreated to the attic of his family's home, where he collected wires, batteries, and scraps to experiment with this mysterious force. His father disapproved, dismissing the boy's tinkering as frivolous, a distraction from the serious work of the forge. But Ferdinand's experiments were more than a hobby. They were a rebellion against a life he refused to accept. One evening, in the dim light of the attic, Ferdinand achieved a small victory that would change his family's perspective. He had cobbled together a rudimentary electric generator, a patchwork of salvaged parts that hummed with potential. When he connected it to a light bulb, the filament flickered, then blazed, casting a warm glow across the room. Ferdinand's heart raced as he ran downstairs, urging his skeptical parents to witness his creation. His mother, Anna, stood in awe, her eyes reflecting the light that symbolized her son's brilliance. Even Anton, ever the traditionalist, could not deny the significance of the moment, though he grumbled about the cost of Ferdinand's experiments. The glowing bulb was a turning point, a testament to Ferdinand's ingenuity that could no longer be ignored. In 1891, Anton made a decision that would alter the course of his son's life, enrolling him in the Imperial Technical School of Reichenberg. The family's finances were strained, and education was a luxury, but Anton saw in Ferdinand a spark that deserved to be nurtured. At the technical school, Ferdinand thrived, immersing himself in the study of physics, mechanics, and engineering. He absorbed complex theories and built small machines, earning the admiration of professors who saw him as a prodigy. By 1892, he returned home with a bold project, installing electric lighting throughout the Porsche household. The village of Maffersdorf buzzed with excitement as neighbors gathered to see the house aglow, a beacon of progress in a world of candles and gas lamps. Anton finally relented, granting Ferdinand the freedom to pursue his passion, unaware that this decision would ignite a revolution. In 1893, at the age of 18, Ferdinand left the familiar streets of Maffersdorf for Vienna, the pulsating heart of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Vienna was a city of contrasts, where grand palaces stood alongside factories, churning out the machinery of a new age. Its cafes buzzed with intellectuals debating science, art, and politics, while its workshops pushed the boundaries of technology. Ferdinand found work at Baylor Egger & Co., a firm specializing in electric machinery, starting as a junior technician in a sprawling factory. The job was modest, but Ferdinand approached it with fervor, studying the company's designs and proposing improvements that caught the eye of his supervisors. His colleagues, seasoned engineers, were initially skeptical of the young newcomer, but Ferdinand's relentless work ethic silenced their doubts. Within a year, he was promoted, tasked with leading projects that would shape the future of transportation. At Baylor Egger, Ferdinand encountered a radical concept: electric motors designed to power vehicles. These motors, compact yet potent, could be mounted on the wheels of bicycles or carriages, offering a glimpse of a world beyond horses. Ferdinand was captivated, sketching designs for a vehicle that could move without steam or gasoline. His ideas were bold, but the automotive industry was in its infancy, and many dismissed cars as a passing fad. Undeterred, Ferdinand worked late into the night, his Vienna apartment cluttered with blueprints and prototypes. In 1897, his persistence paid off when he unveiled Baylor Egger's first electric wheel hub motor, a device that could propel a bicycle at startling speeds. The company patented the design, and Ferdinand's name began to circulate among Vienna's engineering elite. He was no longer a village boy. He was a force in a burgeoning industry. By 1898, the automotive world was stirring, with pioneers like Carl Benz and Gottlieb Daimler building gasoline-powered cars that captured the public's imagination. Ferdinand, however, believed electricity was the future, a cleaner, a more elegant solution to mobility. He proposed a fully electric vehicle, but Baylor Egger's management hesitated, wary of the unproven technology and lack of charging infrastructure. Frustrated but determined, Ferdinand made a daring choice, leaving Baylor Egger to join Jacob Lohner & Co., a Viennese firm that had pivoted from carriages to self-powered vehicles. Lohner was a haven for innovation, and Ferdinand was given a workshop, a small team, and the freedom to chase his vision. At 23, he embarked on his most ambitious project yet, the Porsche P1, a car that would bear his name and mark his place in history. The P1, unveiled in 1899, was a marvel of engineering, built on a wooden carriage frame and powered by 2 electric wheel hub motors. It could travel 49 miles on a single charge, a remarkable feat for the era. Though its top speed of 21 miles per hour was modest, the car was designed for racing, as automobiles were not yet seen as practical transport, but as thrilling machines for competition. Across Europe and America, races showcased the potential of this new technology, drawing crowds eager to witness the future. The P1 competed in several events, its sleek frame cutting through the dust of early racetracks, earning praise for its ingenuity. But its heavy lead-acid batteries were a limitation, slowing it down and revealing the challenges of electric power. Ferdinand, ever the problem solver, took note, his mind already racing toward the next breakthrough. Rather than abandon his electric dreams, Ferdinand sought to combine the best of both worlds, merging electricity with the emerging power of gasoline. In 1900, he unveiled the Lohner Porsche Electromobile, a vehicle that would etch his name into the annals of automotive history. The Electromobile was the world's first gasoline-electric hybrid, using a gasoline engine to generate electricity that powered the wheel hub motors. This design was a stroke of genius, reducing the reliance on bulky batteries and allowing the car to travel farther and faster. With a top speed of 36 miles per hour, it outpaced its electric predecessor, breaking Austrian speed records and winning races across Europe. The automotive press hailed Ferdinand as a visionary, his hybrid car a glimpse of a future where efficiency and power could coexist. Crowds gathered to see the Electromobile at exhibitions, marveling at its sleek lines and innovative technology. Yet the car was not without flaws, its complex system making it expensive and difficult to produce. The infrastructure for gasoline was still developing, and electric charging stations were a distant dream. The Electromobile was a prototype, a proof of concept that dazzled but could not yet conquer the market. Ferdinand learned a crucial lesson. Innovation must be tempered with practicality, a principle that would guide his future designs. He began to focus on gasoline-powered vehicles, recognizing their immediate potential in a world not yet ready for hybrids. In 1906, Ferdinand's career took a bold leap when he was recruited by Daimler, a leading manufacturer known for its advanced combustion engines. At 31, he was appointed chief designer, a role that placed him at the forefront of the automotive industry. Daimler's Vienna headquarters buzzed with ambition, and Ferdinand thrived in its dynamic environment. He designed his first purely gasoline-powered car, a sleek vehicle built for racing that debuted in 1908. The Maya performed admirably in competitions, its engine roaring through the winding roads of early racetracks. But Ferdinand's sights were set higher, on a car that could dominate the racing world and cement his legacy. In 1910, Daimler entered the Prince Henry Trial, a prestigious race that drew Europe's top manufacturers. Ferdinand poured his expertise into a new car, the Daimler Model 2780, a machine that combined power and precision. With an 85 horsepower engine, it could reach speeds of 85 miles per hour, a feat that stunned competitors and spectators alike. The Model 2780 swept the race, claiming first, second, and third place, its victory echoing through the automotive world. Ferdinand was celebrated as a genius, earning the title of professor at Daimler, a rare honor for an engineer. The win brought him fame, but it also brought new challenges as the world around him began to shift. In 1914, the outbreak of World War I plunged Europe into chaos, halting the carefree days of racing and innovation. The automotive industry pivoted to support the war effort, and Daimler was no exception, supplying the Austro-Hungarian army with machinery. Ferdinand was drawn into the fold, tasked with designing military vehicles that could withstand the brutal conditions of the battlefield. He created engines for aircraft and airships, their roar echoing over the front lines, and developed artillery tractors like the M17 Goliath, a beast of engineering. These projects tested Ferdinand's ingenuity, forcing him to adapt his skills to the demands of war. The work was grueling, the stakes higher than any race, but Ferdinand's designs earned him acclaim as one of the empire's top engineers. When the war ended in 1918, Europe was scarred, and Ferdinand returned to a changed industry. He resumed his passion for racing, determined to reclaim his place among the greats. In 1922, he unveiled the Daimler Sasha, a small, agile car that defied the trend of bulky engines. Ferdinand believed that lightweight design could outmaneuver power, and the Sasha proved him right, winning 43 out of 53 races, including the 1922 Targa Florio. The Sasha's success was a triumph, a reminder of Ferdinand's brilliance in a world rebuilding from ruin. In 1923, Ferdinand made a pivotal move to Stuttgart, Germany, joining the Daimler division as technical director. Daimler soon merged with Benz and Kiel, forming Daimler-Benz, a powerhouse in the automotive world. Ferdinand thrived in Stuttgart, a city pulsing with industrial ambition, and set out to create cars that blended luxury and performance. He designed the Mercedes-Benz S-Series, high-performance vehicles that were as suited to racetracks as they were to elegant boulevards. In 1928, he introduced the Mercedes-Benz SSK, a car that would become a legend. Its 7.1-liter six-cylinder engine, delivering 200 to 300 horsepower. The SSK, or Super Sport Kurz, reached speeds of 235 kilometers per hour, making it the fastest car of its era. It dominated races, winning the 1929 500 miles of Argentina, the 1930 Cordoba Grand Prix, and the 1931 Mille Miglia, its sleek form a blur on the track. Ferdinand also crafted the Trossi Roadster, a stylish variant of the SSK that turned heads with its extravagant design. The SSK was more than a car, it was a statement, cementing Ferdinand's reputation as a master designer. But tensions simmered at Daimler-Benz, where creative differences with the board strained Ferdinand's patience. In 1931, frustrated and ambitious, he left the company, briefly joining another manufacturer that collapsed amid the Great Depression. Unemployed in a crumbling economy, Ferdinand faced his greatest challenge yet, but also his greatest opportunity. In 1931, with the world in economic turmoil, Ferdinand Porsche made a decision that would define his legacy. He founded Porsche GmbH in Stuttgart, a company that would bear his name and embody his vision. He gathered a team of trusted colleagues, including his son Ferry Porsche, a young engineer eager to prove himself. Ferry shared his father's passion for design, sketching prototypes and testing engines with a zeal that mirrored Ferdinand's own. Porsche GmbH did not initially produce cars, instead offering consulting and motor development for other manufacturers. Ferdinand's reputation as one of Germany's top engineers drew interest, but clients were scarce in a nation reeling from war and depression. The company struggled, its small office a far cry from the bustling factories Ferdinand had once led. He took on modest projects, designing engines and components, but the dream of building his own car burned brightly. The early 1930s were a time of uncertainty, with Germany's economy in tatters and political tensions rising. Yet, in 1933, a letter arrived that would change everything, pulling Porsche GmbH into the spotlight and setting the stage for its greatest achievements: ambition and controversy. The story of Porsche is not just one of sleek cars and racetrack victories. It is a saga of ambition, moral complexity, and redemption that unfolds against the backdrop of a turbulent century. In the early 1930s, Ferdinand Porsche stood at a crossroads, his newly founded company teetering on the edge of failure. Yet, a single letter would propel him into one of the most pivotal and controversial chapters of his career. This is the tale of how Porsche's genius intertwined with the rise of the Volkswagen Beetle and the dark shadow of war. In 1933, as Germany grappled with economic devastation, Ferdinand Porsche received a summons that would change everything. Adolf Hitler, the newly appointed chancellor, had a vision for a motorized nation where every citizen could own an affordable car. He called it the Volkswagen, the people's car, and he wanted it to cost no more than 990 Reichsmarks, a price many engineers deemed impossible. Hitler summoned Germany's top automotive minds to Berlin, and Ferdinand Porsche, renowned for his innovative designs, was among them. The meeting was tense, with Hitler's commanding presence filling the room, his voice sharp as he outlined his demands. Porsche, ever the pragmatist, saw an opportunity where others saw only a dictator's whim. He proposed a compact, air-cooled, rear-engine car that could meet Hitler's specifications without sacrificing quality. His design impressed the Führer, who saw in Porsche a kindred spirit, a man driven by ambition and unafraid of bold challenges. Thus began an unusual alliance, one that would bring Porsche both unprecedented success and profound consequences. Porsche GmbH, struggling to find clients, suddenly had the political backing of the Nazi regime. The contract to design the Volkswagen gave Ferdinand the financial stability he desperately needed. Yet it also tethered his legacy to one of history's most infamous regimes, a decision that would haunt him for decades. In 1934, Ferdinand and his team set to work in Stuttgart, their small workshop buzzing with purpose. The Volkswagen Type 1, later known as the Beetle, was no ordinary project. It was a car that had to balance affordability, durability, and efficiency. Porsche drew inspiration from his earlier designs, particularly the lightweight Saga and the hybrid Electromobile. He envisioned a two-door vehicle with a rounded aerodynamic shape that minimized drag and maximized fuel economy. The engine, placed at the rear, was air-cooled to reduce maintenance costs, a feature that would become a hallmark of the Beetle. Ferdinand's son Ferry played a key role, sketching prototypes and testing components, his youthful energy complementing his father's experience. The team worked tirelessly, often late into the night, refining every detail from the suspension to the chassis. They faced immense pressure, as Hitler demanded regular updates, his impatience a constant shadow over their progress. By 1936, the first prototypes rolled out, their beetle-like curves earning chuckles from the team with admiration from onlookers. The car could seat a family of 5, achieve 31.4 miles per gallon, and handle Germany's rough roads with ease. Test drives in the Black Forest revealed its nimble steering, thanks to the rear-engine weight distribution. When Porsche presented the prototype to Hitler, the Chancellor was delighted, declaring it the embodiment of his vision. Orders poured in, 300,000 before production even began, marking the greatest achievement of Porsche's career to date. The Volkswagen Beetle was poised to revolutionize personal transportation, a symbol of German ingenuity. Yet as the factory in Wolfsburg prepared for mass production, the world was hurtling toward chaos. In September 1939, Hitler's invasion of Poland ignited the Second World War, shattering hopes for the Beetle's civilian rollout. The Wolfsburg factory, built to produce the people's car, was repurposed overnight for military production. Ferdinand Porsche, now a celebrated figure in Germany, found himself drawn into the Nazi war machine. His expertise made him indispensable, and his personal relationship with Hitler ensured his involvement in high-profile projects. Porsche GmbH was tasked with designing military vehicles, from rugged off-road cars to fearsome tanks. One of the first was the Kübelwagen, a military version of the Beetle designed for durability in harsh terrains. Its lightweight frame and reliable engine made it a favorite among German soldiers, who nicknamed it the bucket car. Ferdinand also designed the Schwimmwagen, an amphibious vehicle that could navigate rivers and muddy battlefields. Ferry Porsche, now a key figure in the company, oversaw its development, testing prototypes in secret lakes near Stuttgart. These vehicles were engineering marvels, showcasing Porsche's ability to adapt his automotive genius to the demands of war. But the war demanded more than cars. Hitler launched a competition to design the Tiger, a heavy tank meant to dominate the battlefield. Ferdinand, eager to prove himself, submitted a bold design, the Ferdinand tank, a hybrid that combined petrol and electric transmissions. The concept was revolutionary, promising unmatched power and efficiency. Porsche was so confident that he ordered 100 chassis built before the trials, a decision that would prove disastrous. The Ferdinand tank was a marvel on paper, but its complex engines were prone to breakdowns. During trials, it struggled on rough terrain, its weight bogging it down in mud. The contract went to Henschel & Son, whose simpler design became the Tiger with furlers. Porsche's failure was a blow to his pride, and the 100 chassis he had built seemed destined for scrap. Desperate to salvage them, the Germans converted 90 into tank destroyers, renamed Elephant anti-tanks. These behemoths were effective in combat, their thick armor deflecting enemy fire. But their mechanical issues persisted, and most were lost on the Eastern Front, abandoned in fields as their engines failed. As the war escalated, Porsche GmbH Stuttgart factory became a cog in the Nazi industrial machine. Reports later surfaced that the company used slave labor, a practice common among German firms during the war. Prisoners of war and forced laborers, often worked to exhaustion, were employed in Porsche's facilities. Ferdinand, focused on engineering, claimed ignorance of the full extent of these practices. The company initially denied the accusations, asserting it was a small operation during the war. But in the late 20th century, survivors came forward, their testimonies detailing brutal conditions. Porsche eventually acknowledged its role, contributing millions of euros to funds for victims of forced labor. This dark chapter casts a shadow over Ferdinand's legacy, raising questions about his complicity. Historians note that Ferdinand was not an ardent Nazi. He rarely performed the Hitler salute, and his baggy gray coat stood out amid the brown uniforms of party rallies. The SS rank he received was ceremonial, and he largely ignored it. His focus was on his work, not ideology. He saw the Nazi contracts as a means to grow his company, which went from a profit of 3,000 Reichsmarks in 1934 to over 2 million by 1944. Yet his willingness to supply the regime's needs, regardless of their inhuman practices, remains a point of contention. Ferdinand's moral ambiguity reflects the complexities of the era, where ambition and survival often blurred ethical lines. As the war turned against Germany, Ferdinand's fortunes darkened. In 1945, the Allies closed in and the Nazi regime collapsed. Ferdinand Porsche, once a celebrated engineer, was now a target. The French government arrested him, accusing him of war crimes due to his SS membership and ties to Hitler. He was imprisoned in Dijon, where conditions were harsh. At 70 years old, Ferdinand's health deteriorated rapidly. The charges were murky. His role was technical, not political, but his association with the regime was undeniable. Ferry Porsche was also arrested but released after a few months. He was tasked with raising funds to free his father. Ferry, ever resourceful, turned to an unlikely ally, Italy. He signed a contract with Sicilia, an Italian car manufacturer, to design a Grand Prix racer. The Sicilia 360 was a masterpiece, with advanced aerodynamics and a lightweight frame. Though rule changes prevented it from racing, the project earned Ferry enough to secure his father's release. After 22 months in prison, Ferdinand was freed in 1947, but the ordeal had broken him. His health was frail, his spirit diminished. He returned to Stuttgart, where Porsche GmbH was struggling to survive in a shattered economy. The Volkswagen factory, now under British control, resumed Beetle production, but Porsche GmbH received no credit. Ferdinand's dream of the people's car was slipping away. Yet in this moment of despair, a new hope emerged. Ferry Porsche, undaunted, was ready to carry his father's legacy forward. Ferry Porsche was not just an engineer, he was a visionary with his father's tenacity. He saw potential where others saw ruin. In 1947, he visited the Wolfsburg factory, now producing Beetles for a recovering Europe. He noticed that small sports cars, like those built by Cisitalia, were gaining popularity. He asked himself a simple question: why couldn't Porsche do the same? Ferry negotiated a deal with Volkswagen's managing director. He secured access to Beetle parts and the company's distribution network. More crucially, he presented documents proving Ferdinand's role in designing the Beetle. Volkswagen agreed to pay Porsche GmbH a licensing fee for every Beetle sold. This deal was a lifeline. It gave Porsche GmbH the funds to experiment and innovate. Ferry assembled a small team in a makeshift workshop in Mund, Austria. There, in 1948, they built the first car to bear the Porsche name, the 356. The Porsche 356 was a sleek two-door roadster powered by a modified Volkswagen engine. Its top speed was 87 miles per hour, not the fastest, but its handling was unmatched. The car's lightweight frame and aerodynamic design made it a joy to drive. Ferry entered the 356 in a race in Innsbruck that same year. To his delight, it took first place, signaling Porsche's return to the racing world. The 356 was more than a car. It was a statement. It proved that Porsche GmbH could survive, even in the shadow of war and loss. Car enthusiasts embraced the 356, drawn to its elegance and performance. Ferdinand, though weakened, visited the Gmund workshop. He saw the 356 and smiled, proud of his son's achievement. In 1950, he toured the Wolfsburg factory one last time. He watched Beetles roll off the assembly line. His vision finally realized. But his health continued to decline. On January 30th, 1951, Ferdinand Porsche died at the age of 75. His passing marked the end of an era, yet it was also the beginning of a new chapter for Porsche. Ferry was ready to lead the company into the future. The birth of an icon. The Porsche legacy, built on racetrack triumphs and engineering brilliance, was about to enter a golden era. In the aftermath of World War II, with Ferdinand Porsche's health fading and his company on the brink, a new generation stepped forward. Ferry Porsche, imbued with his father's vision, transformed a small workshop into a beacon of automotive excellence. The 1950s and 1960s would see the rise of the Porsche 356 and the birth of the legendary 911, cars that would redefine performance and style. This is a story of how Porsche cemented its place as a global icon, conquering racetracks and capturing hearts worldwide. In 1948, as Europe rebuilt from the ruins of war, Ferry Porsche stood in a modest workshop in Gmund, Austria, surrounded by a small but determined team. Porsche GmbH, battered by the war and its aftermath, had been granted a lifeline through a licensing deal with Volkswagen, securing funds from every Beetle sold. Ferry, inspired by the lightweight sports cars emerging in Italy, envisioned a vehicle that could embody his father's engineering principles while carving its own identity. The result was the Porsche 356, the first car to bear the family name. A sleek two-door roadster that combined elegance with agility. Built using modified Volkswagen parts, the 356 was powered by an air-cooled, rear-mounted engine, delivering a modest 40 horsepower. Its top speed of 87 miles per hour was not earth-shattering, but its lightweight aluminum body and precise handling made it a revelation. Ferry tested the prototype himself. navigating the winding roads of the Austrian Alps, where the car's nimble steering and balanced weight distribution shone. The 356 was more than a car. It was a statement of survival, a declaration that Porsche could thrive despite the odds. In June 1948, Ferry entered the 356 in a local race in Innsbruck, a modest event that drew curious onlookers and skeptical competitors. To the crowd's astonishment, the unassuming Porsche crossed the finish line first. Its victory a spark that reignited the company's racing heritage. Car enthusiasts took notice, drawn to the 356's blend of performance and understated beauty, its curves evoking a sense of timeless craftsmanship. Ferdinand Porsche, frail but proud, visited the Gmünd workshop to see his son's creation, his eyes lighting up as he ran his hand along the car's smooth lines. The 356's early sales were modest, with only 52 units built by hand in Gmünd, but its reputation grew, spreading from Austria to Germany and beyond. By 1950, Porsche GmbH relocated to Stuttgart, where a new factory allowed production to scale, marking the dawn of a new chapter. As the 1950s unfolded, the Porsche 356 evolved, each iteration refining Ferry's vision of a driver's car that balanced power and precision. The Gmünd models, with their handcrafted aluminum bodies, gave way to steel-bodied versions built in Stuttgart. Making the car more affordable without sacrificing quality, engineers tweaked the air-cooled engine, boosting output to 70 horsepower in models like the 356A, while improvements in suspension and brakes enhanced handling. The 356's design, with its rounded hood and compact silhouette, became a symbol of post-war optimism, a car that promised freedom on open roads. Ferry, a meticulous leader, oversaw every detail, from the leather upholstery to the dashboard's minimalist layout, ensuring the car felt as luxurious as it performed. The 356 found an enthusiastic audience, particularly in America, where a growing car culture embraced its sporty charm. Dealers like Max Hoffman in New York championed the Porsche, convincing Ferry to create the 356 Speedster, a stripped-down model with a low windshield and Spartan interior. The Speedster, priced at under $3,000, became a sensation, its sleek lines and agile performance appealing to Hollywood stars and weekend racers alike. James Dean, the rebellious icon, famously owned a 356 Speedster, cementing its status as a cultural phenomenon, its image immortalized in magazines and films. By 1955, the 356 was winning races across Europe, from the winding circuits of the Nürburgring to the grueling Rally de Monte Carlo, where its reliability outshone flashier competitors. The car's success was not just in speed, but in endurance, with drivers praising its ability to maintain performance over long distances. Porsche's Stuttgart factory buzzed with activity, producing thousands of 356s annually, each one a testament to Ferry's commitment to quality. Yet, even as the 356 captivated drivers, Ferry knew the company could not rest on its laurels, as customer tastes were shifting toward more powerful, distinctive designs. In January 1951, Ferdinand Porsche passed away at 75, his body weakened by years of imprisonment and relentless work. His death was a profound loss for Ferry, who had always sought his father's approval, but it also galvanized his resolve to honor the Porsche name. Ferdinand's final years were bittersweet, as he witnessed the 356's early successes and the Volkswagen Beetle's rise, a car he had designed decades earlier. Ferry often recalled his father's words, "Build cars that you would want to drive yourself," a mantra that guided every decision at Porsche GmbH. The 356's triumphs at Le Mans in 1951, where it won its class, were a tribute to Ferdinand's vision, as the car's lightweight design echoed his early experiments with the Sasha. Ferry expanded the 356 lineup, introducing models like the 356 Carrera, named after the grueling Carrera Panamericana race in Mexico, where Porsches excelled. The Carrera's 110 horsepower engine pushed the 356 to new heights, its top speed nearing 125 miles per hour, a feat that silenced critics who doubted the air-cooled design. Porsche's racing efforts were not just about trophies. They were a proving ground, where innovations in aerodynamics and suspension were tested before reaching production cars. The 356's success attracted a loyal following, from engineers who admired its technical prowess to artists who saw beauty in its form. By the late 1950s, the 356 had sold over 25,000 units, a remarkable achievement for a small company competing against giants like Ferrari and Jaguar. Yet Ferry recognized that the 356, rooted in Volkswagen components, was nearing its limits, and a new car was needed to carry Porsche into the future. In the early 1960s, Ferry Porsche turned to his son, Alexander Porsche, a young designer with a flair for aesthetics and a passion for the family legacy. Alexander, unlike his father and grandfather, saw himself not as an engineer, but as a craftsman, shaping forms that married function with beauty. Trained in industrial design and apprenticed in Porsche's body design department, he was tasked with creating a successor to the 356 that would redefine the brand. Alexander A.S. sketches envisioned a car that retained the 356S compact silhouette, but added sharper lines and a more aggressive stance. The result was the Porsche 911, a car that would become an enduring icon. Its design so timeless that it remains recognizable over half a century later. Unveiled at the 1963 Frankfurt Motor Show, the 911 was a bold departure, powered by a new 6-cylinder, air-cooled boxer engine that delivered 130 horsepower. The rear engine layout, a Porsche hallmark, was refined with a sophisticated suspension system, ensuring the 911 handled like a race car while remaining road-friendly. Its top speed of 131 miles per hour and acceleration from 0 to 60 in under 9 seconds thrilled journalists who praised its uncanny balance of power and poise. The 911's interior, with its 5-dial instrument cluster and leather-wrapped steering wheel, exuded understated luxury, a nod to Alexander's attention to detail. Ferry drove the prototype himself, marveling at how it captured the spirit of the 356 while pushing the boundaries of performance. The 911 wasn't just a car, it was a statement, a declaration that Porsche could compete with the world's elite manufacturers. Its launch marked a turning point as orders flooded in from Europe, America, and beyond, signaling the dawn of Porsche's global dominance. The Porsche 911 was born to race, and its debut on the track would solidify its legend. In 1965, the 911 entered the Monte Carlo Rally, a grueling event that tested cars on icy mountain roads and treacherous turns. Driven by Herbert Linger, the 911 finished 5th. An impressive result for a newcomer against seasoned competitors like Mini and Ford. The result was a wake-up call for the racing world, as Porsche's engineers used the data to refine the car's suspension and engine tuning. In 1966, Porsche introduced the 911s, a sportier variant with 160 horsepower, its lightweight body and upgraded brakes making it a formidable contender. The 911 has dominated the 1967 Targa Florio, a punishing Sicilian race where its agility outmaneuvered heavier rivals on twisting mountain roads. Fans lined the streets, cheering as the 911's distinctive boxer engine roared past, its sound becoming synonymous with Porsche's racing spirit. The 911's success continued at the 24 Hours of Daytona, where it claimed class victories, and at Le Mans, where it battled Ferrari and Ford in epic duels. Porsche's racing program was a laboratory, with innovations like disc brakes and aerodynamic spoilers trickling down to production models. The 911 Carrera, introduced in 1973, was a homologation special, its 210 horsepower engine and iconic ducktail spoiler making it a legend among enthusiasts. The Carrera was a street-legal race car, blurring the line between track and road, its raw performance captivating drivers who craved the thrill of competition. By the late 1960s, Porsche had won 3 consecutive Monte Carlo rallies, 1968-1970, establishing the 911 as one of the most versatile and successful race cars in history. These victories were not just sporting triumphs, they fueled sales, as customers clamored for a car that could bring the racetrack to their daily drive. The Porsche 911 transcended its role as a car, becoming a cultural icon that captured the imagination of a generation. Its sleek lines and aggressive stance appeared in films, from Steve McQueen's Le Mans to James Bond's Goldfinger, where the 911's allure added a touch of glamour. Car magazines featured the 911 on their covers, with writers waxing poetic about its soulful driving experience and unmistakable engine note. The 911 appealed to a diverse audience, from bankers who parked it in city garages to adventurers who tackled mountain passes. Its versatility unmatched. Porsche's Stuttgart factory expanded to meet demand, producing over 20,000 units annually by the early 1970s, a testament to the 911's universal appeal. The 911 Turbo, introduced in 1975, pushed the boundaries further. Its 260 horsepower, turbocharged engine delivering blistering acceleration and a top speed of 155 miles per hour. The Turbo's wide rear fenders and massive rear wing gave it a muscular look, earning it the nickname Widowmaker for its challenging handling. Enthusiasts embraced the challenge, and the 911 Turbo became a status symbol, its presence on the road a declaration of daring and wealth. Porsche's racing successes and cultural cachet elevated the brand to new heights, but Ferry Porsche remained grounded, insisting that every car meet his exacting standards. The 911's reliability was legendary, with estimates suggesting that 70% of all 911s built were still on the road decades later, a testament to their engineering. Yet, even as Porsche basked in its triumphs, the company faced challenges, as economic shifts and internal changes loomed on the horizon. In 1972, Ferry Porsche made a difficult decision, stepping down as head of Porsche GmbH to focus on a supervisory role. None of his sons, including Alexander, wished to take the helm, preferring to pursue their own paths in design and innovation. The family council decided to restructure the company, splitting shares and appointing a non-family member as CEO, marking the end of direct Porsche family leadership. Ferry's departure was emotional, as he had guided the company through its darkest days to global acclaim. Yet he remained a guiding force, advising on new models and attending races, his presence a reminder of the brand's roots. Alexander Porsche, the 911's designer, left to found Porsche Design, a studio creating luxury goods like watches and sunglasses, each reflecting the clean lines of his automotive work. The 911's success had transformed Porsche GmbH into a major player, but the company's identity remained tied to its racing heritage and engineering purity. As the 1970s dawned, Porsche faced new competitors and changing consumer tastes, with fuel crises and emissions regulations challenging the industry. The 911 with its air-cooled engine was a symbol of tradition, but questions arose about its future in a world demanding efficiency. Ferry, ever forward-thinking, approved the development of new models, like the front-engine 928, a grand tourer that aimed to broaden Porsche's appeal. The 928, with its V8 engine and luxurious interior, was a bold experiment, but it never eclipsed the 911's iconic status. Porsche's racing program continued to thrive, with the 911 dominating GT championships and rallying, its legacy secure. The company's Stuttgart headquarters became a pilgrimage site for enthusiasts who toured the factory and dreamed of owning a Porsche. By the late 1970s, Porsche was no longer a small upstart. It was a global brand synonymous with performance and prestige. Crisis and reinvention. The Porsche legacy, built on racetrack triumphs and engineering brilliance, faced its greatest test as the 20th century drew to a close. The 1980s brought economic turbulence and changing consumer tastes, threatening to unravel the success of the iconic 911 and its maker. Under new leadership, Porsche GmbH navigated a perilous landscape where bold decisions would determine whether the brand would soar or falter. The introduction of the Cayenne SUV, a gamble that defied tradition, would redefine Porsche's identity in the 21st century. This is the story of how Porsche weathered the storm and emerged as a global powerhouse, blending heritage with innovation. In the late 1970s, Porsche GmbH stood at the pinnacle of the automotive world, its 911 a symbol of performance and prestige. The company's Stuttgart factory hummed with activity, producing thousands of cars annually, each one a testament to Ferry Porsche's vision of a driver's car. Yet beneath this success, cracks were forming, as global economic shifts began to challenge the brand's reliance on the 911. The 1973 oil crisis had shaken the automotive industry, with fuel shortages and rising prices forcing consumers to prioritize efficiency over performance. Porsche responded with the 924 and 928, front-engine models designed to broaden its appeal and meet stricter emissions regulations. The 928, with its V8 engine and luxurious interior, was a bold departure aimed at the grand touring market dominated by Mercedes-Benz and BMW. While the 928 won praise for its smooth ride and advanced technology, it struggled to capture the hearts of Porsche purists, who saw the 911 as the brand's soul. Sales of the 928 and 924 were respectable, but they couldn't match the 911's iconic status, leaving Porsche vulnerable as the 1980s dawned. The global recession of the early 1980s, coupled with a strengthening German mark, made Porsche's cars prohibitively expensive in key markets like the United States. By 1986, a sharp drop in the dollar's exchange rate further eroded Porsche's profitability as American buyers, who accounted for nearly half of sales, turned to cheaper alternatives. The high cost of producing handcrafted, high-quality cars in Stuttgart added to the strain, as Porsche's margins shrank under the weight of economic realities. Ferry Porsche, now in a supervisory role, watched with concern as the company he had built faced an uncertain future. The 911, despite its enduring popularity, was aging, its air-cooled engine increasingly at odds with modern demands for fuel efficiency and lower emissions. Porsche's leadership, no longer under direct family control, grappled with how to preserve the brand's heritage while adapting to a rapidly changing world. By the late 1980s, Porsche GmbH was in a precarious position, its sales plummeting as the global economy faltered. In 1987, the company sold just 23,000 cars worldwide, a stark contrast to the 50,000 units moved annually a decade earlier. The 911, though beloved, faced criticism for its dated design, with competitors like Ferrari and Corvette offering more modern alternatives at lower prices. The 928 and 924, intended to diversify Porsche's lineup, failed to generate the expected demand, their production costs eating into the company's dwindling reserves. In 1991, Porsche reported losses of 240 million Deutsche Marks, a staggering blow for a company once synonymous with success. The Stuttgart factory, once a hive of activity, saw layoffs and reduced shifts as workers feared for their livelihoods. Wendelin Wiedeking, appointed CEO in 1993, inherited a company on the verge of bankruptcy, its legacy hanging by a thread. Wiedeking, a pragmatic and determined leader, recognized that drastic measures were needed to save Porsche from collapse. He implemented lean manufacturing techniques, inspired by Japanese automakers like Toyota, streamlining production and cutting costs without sacrificing quality. The 911 was updated with the 993 generation, introduced in 1994, which modernized the design while retaining the air-cooled engine, winning back enthusiasts with its refined handling and sleek aesthetics. The 993 was a critical success, boosting morale in Stuttgart, but sales remained sluggish, with only 14,000 cars sold in 1993, the company's lowest point. Wiedeking knew that incremental changes would be enough. Porsche needed a bold strategy to reclaim its place in the market. He turned his attention to an emerging trend, the rise of sport utility vehicles, SUVs, which were capturing the imagination of American buyers. The idea of a Porsche SUV was radical, even heretical, for a brand built on lightweight sports cars designed for racetracks. Yet Wiedeking saw an opportunity to tap into a lucrative market where luxury and utility were converging in a way that could redefine Porsche's future. In 1998, Porsche announced plans to develop an SUV, a decision that sent shockwaves through the automotive world and sparked fierce debate among fans. The project, codenamed Colorado, was a partnership with Volkswagen, which would share platforms and components to reduce costs. Porsche purists were outraged. arguing that a four-door family-friendly vehicle betrayed the brand's heritage of performance and agility. The 911, with its rear-engine purity, had defined Porsche for decades, and critics feared the SUV would dilute the company's identity. Wiedeking and his team pressed forward, undeterred by the backlash, believing that the SUV could secure Porsche's financial future. The Porsche Cayenne, named after the fiery spice, was designed to blend the brand's sporting DNA with the practicality of an SUV. Engineers in Stuttgart worked closely with Volkswagen, using the Touareg platform, but infusing the Cayenne with Porsche's signature performance. The Cayenne's design, with its muscular stance and 911-inspired headlights, was unmistakably Porsche, a deliberate choice to silence doubters. Under the hood, a range of engines, including a 340 horsepower V8 and a 450 horsepower turbo variant, promised blistering acceleration and handling that defied the vehicle's size. The Cayenne was tested on the Nürburgring, where it set lap times rivaling sports cars, proving it was no ordinary SUV. When the Cayenne debuted in 2002, it faced intense scrutiny, with journalists and enthusiasts dissecting every detail. To the surprise of skeptics, the Cayenne was a triumph, its combination of luxury, power, and versatility winning over buyers worldwide. It could tow boats, navigate off-road trails, and sprint from 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds, a feat that left competitors scrambling. The Cayenne's interior, with its premium leather and intuitive controls, echoed the 911's craftsmanship, appealing to affluent families and adventure seekers alike. By 2003, the Cayenne was Porsche's best-selling model, accounting for over half of the company's sales, particularly in the United States. The SUV's success was a financial lifeline, pulling Porsche back from the brink and funding new models and racing programs. Fans who had decried the Cayenne began to embrace it, recognizing that it embodied Porsche's core values in a new form. The Cayenne's impact was undeniable as profits soared and the Stuttgart factory expanded to meet demand. The Cayenne's success transformed Porsche GmbH, restoring its financial stability and emboldening its ambitions. Wendelin Wiedeking used the profits to invest in the 911, launching the 996 and 997 generations, which introduced water-cooled engines to meet emission standards. The shift to water cooling was controversial, as purists mourned the air-cooled era, but the new 911s were faster, more refined, and globally competitive. Models like the 911 GT3 and Turbo pushed performance boundaries, with the GT3's 415 horsepower engine earning accolades for its track-ready precision. Porsche's racing program flourished, with the 911 GT3 RSR dominating GT classes at Le Mans, Daytona, and Spa, its victories reinforcing the brand's motorsport pedigree. The Cayenne also paved the way for the Panamera, a four-door sports sedan introduced in 2009, designed to compete with the likes of BMW's M5 and Mercedes AMG. The Panamera, with its sleek profile and 500 horsepower turbo variant, blended practicality with Porsche's signature driving dynamics. It was tested on the Autobahn and the Nürburgring, where it set records for its class, proving that a sedan could carry the Porsche badge with pride. The Panamera's launch was a bold statement, showing that Porsche could succeed beyond sports cars while staying true to its performance roots. By 2010, Porsche was producing over 80,000 vehicles annually, a far cry from the dark days of the early 1990s. The company's Stuttgart headquarters became a symbol of resilience, with a state-of-the-art museum showcasing its history and achievements. Porsche's racing legacy continued to thrive, with a 911 and its derivatives winning endurance races worldwide, from the 24 Hours of Nürburgring to the Rolex 24 at Daytona. The Cayenne and Panamera expanded Porsche's customer base, attracting buyers who valued luxury and performance in new formats. Yet, even as Porsche celebrated its comeback, a new challenge emerged: the need to adapt to a world increasingly focused on sustainability. In 2009, Porsche GmbH faced a pivotal moment in its corporate history, as financial maneuvers and market pressures reshaped its ownership. Wendelin Wiedeking had attempted to acquire a majority stake in Volkswagen, Porsche's longtime partner, using profits from the Cayenne and other models. The ambitious plan backfired as Porsche accumulated significant debt and Volkswagen, bolstered by its global scale, reversed the takeover. By 2012, Volkswagen acquired Porsche GmbH, integrating it into the Volkswagen Group, which included brands like Audi, Bentley, and Lamborghini. The acquisition was a double-edged sword, sparking concerns among fans that Porsche's independence and identity would be diluted. However, Volkswagen's leadership pledged to preserve Porsche's autonomy, allowing its Stuttgart team to continue designing and engineering cars. The partnership brought benefits, including access to Volkswagen's vast resources, from advanced manufacturing to cutting-edge technologies. Porsche leveraged these resources to develop the Macan, a compact SUV launched in 2014, designed to capture the growing market for smaller luxury crossovers. The Macan, with its 911-inspired handling and a range of engines up to 400 horsepower, became another bestseller, further solidifying Porsche's dominance in the SUV segment. Together, the Cayenne and Macan accounted for over 70% of Porsche's sales by 2015, particularly in markets like the United States and China. The Volkswagen Group's support also enabled Porsche to invest in motorsport, with the 919 Hybrid winning the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 2015, 2016, and 2017. The 919's hybrid technology, combining a turbocharged V4 with electric motors, showcased Porsche's ability to innovate in a new era of racing. These victories were a source of pride, reinforcing Porsche's commitment to performance even as it embraced new vehicle categories. The integration with Volkswagen marked a new chapter, one where Porsche balanced its heritage with the demands of a globalized industry. As the 2010s progressed, Porsche faced the challenge of sustainability as governments worldwide tightened emissions regulations and electric vehicles gained traction. The company, known for its gasoline-powered sports cars, began exploring electrification, a move that echoed Ferdinand Porsche's early experiments with the P1 and electromobile. In 2015, Porsche unveiled the Mission E concept, a fully electric sports car that promised to deliver 911-like performance with zero emissions. The concept generated buzz at the Frankfurt Motor Show, its sleek design and projected 600 horsepower signaling Porsche's commitment to the future. The Mission E became the Taycan, launched in 2019, a groundbreaking vehicle that redefined what an electric car could be. The Taycan, with its 800-volt architecture and up to 750 horsepower in Turbo S form, could accelerate from 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds, rivaling supercars. Its range of over 300 miles and fast charging capability addressed practical concerns, while its handling earned praise as a true Porsche. The Taycan's launch was a triumph, with over 20,000 units sold in its first year, proving that electrification could coexist with Porsche's performance ethos. Porsche also electrified its racing program, entering Formula E in 2019 with the 99X Electric, a move that echoed its Le Mans successes. The Taycan's technology trickled down to hybrid versions of the Cayenne and Panamera, blending efficiency with power. By 2020, Porsche was a leader in the luxury electric vehicle market, its Stuttgart factory producing a mix of gasoline, hybrid, and electric models. The company's commitment to sustainability was matched by its racing heritage, as the 911 GT3R continued to dominate GT racing worldwide. Porsche's museum in Stuttgart became a shrine for enthusiasts, displaying classics like the 356 alongside modern marvels like the Taycan. The brand's global presence grew, with showrooms in Beijing, Dubai, and Los Angeles catering to a diverse clientele. Electrified ambition. As Porsche navigated the dawn of the 21st century, it stood at the intersection of tradition and transformation. Its legacy as a maker of iconic sports cars now intertwined with a bold vision for the future. The success of the Cayenne and the launch of the Taycan had redefined the brand, proving it could thrive in new markets while honoring its performance heritage. In the 2010s and early 2020s, Porsche embraced electrification, digital innovation, and global expansion, all while maintaining its dominance on racetracks worldwide. This is a story of how Porsche harnessed cutting-edge technology and cultural resonance to solidify its place as a leader in the luxury automotive world. In 2019, when Porsche unveiled the Taycan, it was more than a new model. It was a declaration that electric vehicles could embody the soul of a sports car. The Taycan, born from the Mission E concept, was a technological marvel. Its sleek silhouette and 911-inspired headlights blending heritage with futurism. Its 800-volt architecture, a first in production cars, enabled lightning-fast charging, adding 60 miles of range in just 5 minutes at high-power stations. The Taycan Turbo S, with up to 750 horsepower, could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.6 seconds. Its electric motors delivering instantaneous torque that rivaled supercars. Porsche engineers tested the Taycan on the Nürburgring, where it set a record lap time of 7:42 for electric sedans, proving its performance credentials. The car's range, exceeding 300 miles in optimal conditions, addressed practical concerns, while its regenerative braking system enhanced efficiency without sacrificing driving dynamics. Inside, the Taycan was a showcase of modern luxury, with a curved digital dashboard, vegan leather options, and a minimalist design that echoed the 911's driver-focused ethos. Journalists at the launch event in Stuttgart marveled at its silence on the road, broken only by the synthetic hum Porsche crafted to evoke its gasoline-powered siblings. The Taycan's debut was a global event, with simultaneous unveilings in Canada, China, and Germany, symbolizing Porsche's commitment to key markets. By 2020, over 20,000 Taycans were sold worldwide, a remarkable achievement for a brand known for combustion engines, particularly in China, where electric vehicles were booming. The Taycan Cross Turismo, a versatile wagon variant introduced in 2021, expanded the lineup, offering off-road capability and extra cargo space for adventure seekers. Porsche's investment in electrification, over $6 billion by 2025, included upgrades to its Zuffenhausen factory, where the Taycan was built alongside the 911. The factory's solar panels and carbon-neutral production processes reflected Porsche's broader sustainability goals, aligning with global demands for greener mobility. Taycan's success silenced skeptics who doubted Porsche could transition to electric power, proving that innovation was in the brand's DNA. While the Taycan captured headlines, the Porsche 911 remained the heartbeat of the brand, its evolution a testament to Porsche's ability to balance tradition and progress. The 991 generation, launched in 2011, introduced a longer wheelbase and advanced electronics, enhancing stability while preserving the 911's raw driving feel. The 911 Turbo S with 560 horsepower pushed the boundaries of performance, its all-wheel drive system and active aerodynamics setting new standards. In 2019, the 992 generation debuted, blending classic design with cutting-edge technology, its wider stance and digital cockpit appealing to both purists and new buyers. The 992's 3.0-liter twin-turbo flat-six engine delivered up to 640 horsepower in the GT3 RS, a track-focused model that set lap records at circuits like Spa-Francorchamps. Porsche's engineers obsessed over details, from the GT3's carbon fiber wing to the Carrera's adaptive dampers, ensuring each 911 variant offered a unique driving experience. The 911 Dakar, introduced in 2022, was a playful nod to Porsche's rally heritage, with lifted suspension and off-road tires for desert adventures. The 911's versatility was unmatched, equally at home on autobahn straights, mountain passes, or racetracks, its boxer engine's distinctive wail, a siren call for enthusiasts. Porsche celebrated the 911's 60th anniversary in 2023 with the 911 ST, a limited edition model combining the GT3's engine with a manual gearbox, weighing just 3,050 pounds. The ST sold out instantly, its $300,000 price tag no barrier for collectors who saw it as a pinnacle of analog driving in a digital age. Over 1 million 911s have been built since 1963, with 70% still on the road, a testament to their durability and timeless appeal. The 911's cultural impact endured, Appearing in films like Top Gun Maverick and video games like Forza Horizon, its silhouette instantly recognizable. Porsche's Stuttgart Museum showcased 911 variants alongside classics like the 350X, drawing thousands of visitors who revered the car as automotive art. Yet even the 911 faced the inevitability of electrification, with Porsche hinting at a hybrid 911 by 2025, a move that sparked debate among purists. Porsche's racing heritage, a cornerstone of its identity, evolved alongside its road cars, embracing new challenges in the 2010s and 2020s. The 919 Hybrid, a technological marvel, dominated the 24 Hours of Le Mans from 2015 to 2017, its 2.0-liter V4 and electric motors producing over 900 horsepower. The 9119's victories, including a 1-2 finish in 2016, showcased Porsche's ability to innovate under strict regulations, its hybrid system influencing the Taycan's development. Porsche retired the 919 in 2017, shifting focus to Formula E, the all-electric racing series that was gaining global attention. In 2019, Porsche entered Formula E with the 99X Electric, a single-seater that shared technology with the Taycan, including its 800-volt powertrain. The team, led by drivers Andre Lauderer and Pascal Wehrlein, scored podiums in their debut season, competing on street circuits in cities like Berlin and Seoul. Formula E's tight races and energy management strategies tested Porsche's engineering prowess, with data from each race refining its electric vehicle technology. On the GT racing front, the 911 GT3R continued to dominate, winning the 24 Hours of Nürburgring in 2022 and class victories at Daytona and Sebring. The GT3R's 4.2-liter naturally aspirated engine, producing 565 horsepower, was a fan favorite, its raw power contrasting with the silent precision of Formula E. Porsche's customer racing program thrived, with private teams fielding 911s in series like IMSA and the World Endurance Championship, supported by Porsche's technical expertise. The Porsche Carrera Cup, a one-make series, celebrated its 30th anniversary in 2020, nurturing talents who graduated to Le Mans and Formula One. Porsche's motorsport division, based in Weissach, became a hub of innovation, testing lightweight materials and aerodynamic designs that trickled down to production cars. The 963 LMDh, introduced in 2023, marked Porsche's return to top-tier endurance racing, competing at Le Mans with a hybrid V8 powertrain. The 963's debut was emotional, as fans recalled Porsche's 19 Le Mans victories, the most of any manufacturer, and cheered his battle against Ferrari and Toyota. Porsche's racing efforts were more than competition. They were a proving ground, ensuring every Porsche delivered the thrill of the track. By the early 2020s, Porsche's global footprint was vast, its showrooms in Shanghai, Dubai, and Los Angeles catering to a diverse clientele. China, the world's largest auto market, became Porsche's biggest market by volume, with the Cayenne and Macan driving sales among affluent urban buyers. Porsche tailored its offerings for China, introducing long wheelbase Panameras and exclusive colors, while hosting driving events on circuits like Shanghai International. In the United States, Porsche's SUVs dominated, but the 911 remained a favorite among enthusiasts, with over 40,000 cars sold annually by 2023. Porsche Experience Centers, like those in Atlanta and Los Angeles, offered fans a chance to drive 911s on private tracks, blending marketing with adrenaline. The Middle East, with its love for luxury and performance, embraced the 911 Turbo S and Taycan, their bold designs a status symbol in cities like Dubai. Porsche's cultural impact extended beyond cars, with Porsche Design's luxury goods, watches, sunglasses, and luggage carrying the brand's aesthetic to new audiences. The 911 silhouette appeared in art galleries and fashion collaborations. From Supreme hoodies to Tag Heuer chronographs, its design a universal symbol of aspiration. Porsche's marketing campaigns, like the Dreamers on Ho series, celebrated visionaries from Ferdinand Porsche to modern innovators, resonating with a generation seeking purpose. The brand's social media presence, with millions of followers on Instagram, showcased everything from vintage 356 to Taycan road trips, engaging fans worldwide. Porsche's sponsorships, from tennis tournaments to esports, broadened its appeal, while its heritage films like The Sound of Porsche celebrated its legacy. The Stuttgart Museum, expanded in 2019, welcomed over 500,000 visitors annually, its exhibits tracing Porsche's journey from the P1 to the Taycan. Porsche's global success was underpinned by its workforce, with over 40,000 employees by 2023, many of whom saw their work as a calling. The company's commitment to diversity and inclusion, with programs for women in engineering, reflected its evolution as a modern brand. Porsche's embrace of sustainability went beyond electrification, as it aimed for carbon neutrality across its value chain by 2030. The Zuffenhausen factory, where the Taycan and 911 were built, used renewable energy, while suppliers were audited for eco-friendly practices. Porsche invested in synthetic fuels, or e-fuels, which could power its classic cars without fossil fuels, preserving the 911's gasoline legacy. The Cayenne and Panamera hybrids, with plug-in options, offered up to 30 miles of electric range, blending efficiency with performance for daily commutes. Porsche's recycling initiatives ensured that 90% of each car's materials could be reused, from aluminum frames to battery packs. The company partnered with universities and startups to develop next-generation batteries, aiming for lighter, longer-lasting cells by 2030. Digitalization transformed Porsche's operations, with augmented reality used in design studios and AI optimizing production lines. The My Porsche app, launched in 2020, allowed owners to customize their cars, track maintenance, and plan routes, integrating the brand into their digital lives. Porsche's subscription service, Porsche Drive, offered short-term rentals of 911s and Taycans, appealing to urbanites who preferred access over ownership. The Taycan's over-the-air updates, a first for Porsche, enabled performance tweaks and new features without a dealership visit, a nod to Tesla's influence. Porsche's venture arm invested in tech startups, from autonomous driving to blockchain, ensuring it stayed ahead in a rapidly evolving industry. The Weissach Development Center, expanded in 2022, housed simulators that tested virtual prototypes, reducing waste and accelerating innovation. Porsche's digital twin technology created virtual replicas of its factories, optimizing energy use and predicting maintenance needs. These initiatives reflected Porsche's forward-thinking ethos, ensuring it remained a leader in a world of autonomous vehicles and smart cities. By 2025, Porsche GmbH was a global titan, its annual revenue exceeding $40 billion and its market value among the highest in the automotive sector. The Volkswagen Group's ownership provided stability, allowing Porsche to invest in bold projects like the electric Macan, launched in 2024. The Macan EV, with up to 600 horsepower and a 400-mile range, rivaled the Taycan in performance, cementing Porsche's dominance in electric SUVs. The 911 GT3 RS, updated in 2023, pushed the limits of combustion engines, its 525 horsepower engine a defiant roar in an electric age. Porsche's racing program continued to inspire, with the 963 LMDh battling for Le Mans victories and Formula E pushing electric performance boundaries. The company's fan base, from Porsche Club members to TikTok enthusiasts, celebrated its heritage while embracing its electrified future. Porsche's collaborations, like the 911 turbo-inspired sneakers with Puma, kept the brand relevant in pop culture, its logo a badge of aspiration. The Stuttgart Museum expanded its virtual tours, allowing global fans to explore classics like the 959 and 917 from their phones. Porsche's commitment to craftsmanship endured, with hand-stitched interiors and bespoke paint options available through its Sonderwunsch program. The brand's philanthropy, including scholarships for engineering students, honored Ferdinand Porsche's belief in nurturing talent. Porsche's story was one of resilience, from a small workshop in Gmünd to a global empire that shaped automotive history. Its ability to innovate, whether through the P1, the 911, or the Taycan, ensured its relevance in a world of constant change. As Porsche looked to the future, it carried the dreams of Ferdinand, Ferry, and Alexander, their vision alive in every car that bore the crest. A legacy eternal, the Porsche story, spanning over a century, is a tapestry of innovation, resilience, and passion, woven from the dreams of a small-town engineer to the global empire that bears his name. From the electric P1 to the roaring 911 and the silent power of the Taycan, Porsche has redefined what it means to drive. Blending performance with purpose. As the brand stands in 2025, it is both a guardian of tradition and a pioneer of the future. Its crest, a symbol of excellence recognized worldwide. This final chapter reflects on Porsche's enduring legacy, its vision for tomorrow, and the timeless spirit that continues to inspire generations. In the quiet village of Maffersdorf, where Ferdinand Porsche first dreamed of machines, the seeds of a revolution were sown. His experiments with electricity, conducted in a dimly lit attic, were the spark that ignited a journey from blacksmith's son to automotive titan. Ferdinand's vision to build cars that thrilled the driver lives on in every Porsche, from the lightweight 356 to the electrified Macan. His early creations, like the Volkswagen Beetle, brought mobility to millions, while his racing triumphs with Austro-Daimler set the stage for Porsche's motorsport dynasty. The challenges he faced, from economic crises to wartime controversies, shaped a legacy of perseverance that defines the brand today. Ferry Porsche, carrying his father's torch, transformed a struggling workshop into a global icon. His belief in quality over quantity, a guiding principle. Alexander Porsche's design of the 911, with its timeless curves, ensured the brand's aesthetic would endure, a silhouette etched into the world's imagination. The Porsche family story is one of sacrifice and ambition, their personal triumphs and tragedies mirroring the company's own turbulent path. Each generation added to the legacy, from Ferdinand's hybrid innovations to Ferry's racing victories and Alexander's artistic vision. Porsche GmbH, born in 1931 amid the Great Depression, was a bold gamble that paid off, its Stuttgart headquarters now a monument to their collective dream. The company's history is a reminder that greatness is not born in comfort but forged in adversity, a lesson that resonates in every car that bears the Porsche crest. Porsche is more than a car maker. It is a cultural force, its influence stretching far beyond the racetrack or showroom. The 911, with its sleek lines and primal roar, has starred in countless films, from Bullet to Bad Boys, its presence elevating every chase scene to an art form. Music videos, from hip-hop to pop, feature Porsches as symbols of success, their gleaming bodies a backdrop for stories of aspiration and triumph. Fashion brands, from Adidas to Gucci, have collaborated with Porsche design, creating apparel and accessories that carry the brand's minimalist elegance. Porsche's cultural reach extends to literature, with novels and memoirs celebrating the 911's role in personal journeys, from road trips to self-discovery. The brand's fan base, organized in Porsche clubs worldwide, numbers over 700,000 members who gather for rallies, track days, and charity events. These enthusiasts, from Silicon Valley coders to Dubai sheikhs, share a passion for the Porsche experience, swapping stories of winding roads and perfect shifts. The Stuttgart Museum, a sleek structure of glass and steel, draws millions. Its exhibits, from the 917 to the Taycan, telling a story of evolution and excellence. Porsche's social media, with over 30 million followers by 2025, showcases everything from vintage restorations to Taycan adventures, engaging a digital generation. The brand's marketing, with campaigns like Porsche Unseen, reveals concept cars never produced, sparking debates among fans about what could have been. Porsche's sponsorships, from the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix to gaming tournaments, align it with precision and performance across diverse fields. Its philanthropy, funding education, and environmental initiatives reflects a commitment to leaving a positive mark beyond profit. Porsche's cultural resonance lies in its ability to embody dreams, Whether it's a teenager sketching a 911 or the retiree restoring a 356, the brand story, told through documentaries and books, celebrates not just cars, but the human spirit, a narrative of innovation against all odds. Porsche's racing heritage, from the Targa Florio to Le Mans, is the pulse that keeps its legacy alive, a testament to its engineering prowess. The 911 GT3R, with its 565 horsepower engine, continues to dominate GT racing, winning the 24 Hours of Spa in 2024 against fierce competition. The 963 LMDh, competing in the World Endurance Championship, carries Porsche's hopes for a 20th Le Mans victory, its hybrid powertrain a bridge between past and future. Formula E, where the 99X Electric races through city streets, showcases Porsche's electric ambitions, with podiums in Monaco and Mexico City in 2024. Porsche's customer racing program empowers privateers, from weekend warriors to professional teams, to field 911s in series like the Porsche Super Cup. The Carrera Cup, now global, nurtures young drivers, some of whom, like Nick Tandy, have gone on to win Le Mans for Porsche's factory team. Weissach, Porsche's motorsport hub, is a laboratory of innovation where carbon fiber chassis and hybrid systems are tested under extreme conditions. The 919 Hybrid's Le Mans triumphs from 2015 to 2017 inspired the Taycan's powertrain, proving that racing drives progress for road cars. Porsche's racing philosophy, win on Sunday, sell on Monday, remains true as GT3 RS buyers seek the track-honed performance of their heroes. The brand's sim racing team, competing in virtual Le Mans events, engages a new generation, blending esports with real-world engineering. Porsche's racing archives, housed in Stuttgart, preserve blueprints and trophies, a treasure trove for historians and fans alike. The annual Rennsport Reunion, a global gathering of Porsche racers, celebrates the brand's motorsport legacy with parades and competitions. Porsche's commitment to racing ensures that every car, from the Cayenne to the Taycan, carries the DNA of a champion, built to thrill. The roar of a 911 at full throttle, echoing through the stands at Daytona, is a reminder that Porsche's heart beats fastest on the track. Porsche's vision for the future is rooted in sustainability, a nod to Ferdinand Porsche's early experiments with electric power. By 2030, the company aims for 80% of its vehicles to be electric, with models like the Taycan and Macan EV leading the charge. The electric Boxster and Cayman, slated for 2026, promise to deliver sports car thrills with zero emissions, their compact designs optimized for agility. Porsche's investment in e-fuels, produced using renewable energy, offers a lifeline for its classic cars, allowing 911s to run carbon neutrally. The Zuffenhausen factory, now fully carbon neutral, uses wind and solar power, while recycled materials make up 30% of each new vehicle. Porsche's supply chain, audited for ethical practices, ensures that battery production minimizes environmental harm, a priority in markets like Europe. Partnerships with tech firms like Siemens advance solid-state batteries, promising 50% more range by 2035, a game changer for electric performance. The company's reforestation projects, from Brazil to Borneo, offset emissions, while its Stuttgart campus hosts urban bee farms to support biodiversity. Porsche's synthetic leather, used in a Taycan, reduces reliance on animal products, appealing to eco-conscious buyers without compromising luxury. The My Porsche app, with over 1 million users, optimizes driving routes for efficiency, integrating with smart cities to reduce urban congestion. Porsche's sustainability efforts extend to motorsport, with Formula E leading the way and e-fuels powering historic races like the Porsche Classic Series. The brand's commitment to a circular economy ensures that batteries are repurposed for energy storage, extending their life beyond the car. Porsche's vision is not just about compliance, it's about leading, proving that performance and responsibility can coexist in harmony. The legacy of Ferdinand's P1 a century ago lives on in this pursuit, as Porsche reimagines mobility for a planet in need of care. As Porsche looks to its second century, it envisions a world where technology enhances the human experience, not replaces it. The hybrid 911, expected in 2025, will blend electric power with its iconic flat six, offering efficiency without sacrificing soul. Autonomous driving, while part of Porsche's research, takes a back seat to driver engagement with level 4 systems reserved for SUVs like the Cayenne. Porsche's augmented reality windshields in development will project navigation and performance data, turning every drive into a cockpit experience. The company's space division, a speculative venture, explores lightweight materials inspired by aerospace, potentially for hypercars or lunar rovers. Porsche's digital platform, set to launch by 2030, will integrate cars with smart homes, allowing owners to preheat their Taycan from their kitchen. The brand's personalization program, Sonderwunsch, will expand, offering bespoke 911s with hand-painted details and custom interiors for collectors. Porsche's urban mobility concepts, like electric scooters and e-bikes, aim to complement cars in crowded cities, branded with the same precision. The next generation Taycan, rumored for 2027, could feature wireless charging and a 500-mile range, pushing electric performance to new heights. Porsche's motorsport ambitions include a return to Formula One by 2030, leveraging its hybrid expertise to challenge Mercedes and Ferrari. The company's virtual reality experiences, like driving a 917 in a historic Le Mans, will bring Porsche's heritage to fans unable to visit Stuttgart. Porsche's global academies, training engineers in Zuffenhausen, will nurture the next Ferdinand, ensuring innovation remains at the core. The brand's commitment to diversity, with 40% women in leadership by 2030, reflects a modern ethos, broadening its appeal. Porsche's future is one of balance, honoring its past while embracing technologies that keep it ahead of the curve. The crest, unchanged since 1952, will continue to symbolize a promise to build cars that stir the soul. In 2025, as Porsche celebrates its 94th year, it stands as a beacon of what is possible when vision meets determination. Ferdinand Porsche's attic experiments, once dismissed as folly, sparked a revolution that reshaped mobility and inspired millions. Ferry Porsche's courage, turning a wartime workshop into a global brand, proved that adversity breeds greatness when met with resolve. Alexander Porsche's 911, a design so perfect it defies time, remains the yardstick by which all sports cars are measured. The Cayenne, once a gamble, saved the company and expanded its reach, showing that innovation can wear many forms. The Taycan, a nod to Ferdinand's electric dreams, has redefined performance, proving that the future can honor the past. Porsche's racing triumphs, from Le Mans to Formula E, are a testament to its relentless pursuit of excellence, a legacy of victory. The brand's cultural impact, from Hollywood to haute couture, reflects its ability to transcend metal and rubber, becoming a symbol of aspiration. Its sustainability efforts, from e-fuels to carbon-neutral factories, show a commitment to a world where driving remains a joy, not a burden. Porsche's community, from club members to factory workers, is its lifeblood, their passion fueling the brand's enduring relevance. The Stuttgart Museum, a pilgrimage site, tells a story of grit and glory. Its exhibits a bridge between yesterday and tomorrow. Porsche's financial success, with $45 billion in revenue in 2024, is a byproduct of its true mission to build cars that inspire. The Volkswagen Group's stewardship has provided stability, allowing Porsche to dream bigger, from electric hypercars to space exploration. Every Porsche, whether a 356 restored in a garage or a Taycan charging in Shanghai, carries the weight of history and the promise of the future. The brand story is not just about cars, it's about the human spirit, the courage to create, and the will to endure. As Porsche drives into its second century, it remains true to Ferdinand's vision, to build cars that make the heart race and the soul soar. If you love this epic journey through Porsche's history, from Ferdinand's electric dreams to the roaring 911 and the electrified Taycan, then don't miss out on more stories like this. Hit that subscribe button to join our community of car enthusiasts and never miss a video. And if this tale of innovation and passion inspired you, give this video a like to let us know. Your support fuels our drive to bring you more incredible stories. Let's keep the Porsche legacy rolling. Subscribe and like now.